Coaching in Session.
Your exclusive destination for unparalleled personal and professional growth.
With your host, Michael Rearden.
Whether you choose to live within limits or break free, your mindset journey begins here.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. We are at the end of 2025, are moving our way into 2026. And I know people's minds are invigorated today. They got maybe exactly what was on their Christmas list, maybe a little bit more. And now they are full on distracted with all the materialistic goods. Now, of course, I'm not saying that this is everybody. Of course, there's going to be people who are more focused on the family and they love nothing more than to cook for their loved ones and to see them full and fed and happy and talking to each other. Very similar to Thanksgiving, right? We're happy and we're boisterous and we're together. I remember when I was younger, when Christmas came along, we would get gifts from Santa Claus, 2, 3, 4 sometimes. And my mom and dad, they never really put a gift from mom or a gift from dad. Maybe because in their minds, they knew they bought every single gift. And for us, the dream of Santa Claus or the fantasy of Santa Claus, where some old fat guy would come down our chimney. And to be honest, I don't even know how he would come down our chimney. We didn't have a fireplace and our chimney was broken. Like our chimney is like dilapidated, where it's like the bricks are crooked. And this is like when I was a kid. And it was not a good chimney to scoot down, okay? Like if you try to scoot down that chimney, you will break the chimney, number one. And then, of course, you'll get stuck because there's no way out. Of course, you go down to the furnace, down into the basement, but then that door is locked. I mean, so when you're a kid, it's just like, yeah, if you have a fireplace, like in my home, I have a fireplace now. So it's easy for my son to maybe say, oh, wow, Santa Claus is coming down the chimney. For me, we didn't really have that depiction. My grandmother, she had a fireplace, but we didn't. And it was not to say that you need to have a fireplace for Santa Claus to come to your house, but it left you to wonder, how did he do it? Why do people do it? Why do people give children this fantasy of Santa Claus? What purpose is it? My wife and I talk about this quite a bit. We say, we're not going to tell our kids all of these fantasy characters like the Easter Bunny or the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus. And I say in my mind, even though the logical thing to do is to not allow it to be a lie and say, hey, Santa Claus is coming, you better be good. The elf on the shelf or the Easter Bunny is not going to leave you a basket. And we can say all these negative things of these characters that have been created, like the Hallmark idea of what these holidays are, is essentially to make money, right? To allow us to continue to be consumers. Now, when you go to school, you think you're going to school to get an education. And this is probably one of the fallacies where I think parents they struggle the most with, because they're thinking, oh, I'm setting up my kid to get a good education. They're going to be safe. They're going to be a person that's going to be better than me. They're going to make me proud. But then again, when you look at the statistics of public schools, kids are failing left and right. They have never been more uninterested in school today. So we have to ask, well, if we're just giving them fantasies and we're living in a fantasy that we can send them to a school that's going to just magically equip them for the real world, then we have a couple of screws loose, I think, as well. It's not just the system that is broken, we're broken as well. So when it comes to this idea of Santa Claus or this idea of giving gifts on Christmas, we know that there's different religious aspects to it with the three kings. We know that there's going to be other aspects of like leaving your shoe out. And then, of course, you get some gifts in your shoe. We can go down the spiritual aspect of things and we can just go down the Hallmark aspect of things. But it leads to us being consumers at the end of the day. We have been consumers probably for the past month. ever since Thanksgiving and Black Friday. I know when I was younger, Black Friday was strictly Black Friday. Now it's probably like Wednesday where they're saying, all right, Black Friday deals all week long. And then on Monday, there's supposed to be Cyber Monday. So it's like we are getting hit with all of these things that we think we need, or all of these things that are possibly at a better price when we can look at what they do with the prices. They just put it in a different color. So if it was $5.99, they're going to put it in a different color and they're going to say it's $5.99 and they're going to say it was $7.99. And you're going to say, whoa, look at the bargain. I'm saving $200. And that's the consumer in you. You think you're winning, but you're losing. And we will continue to keep on losing if we don't understand what the system is. Christmas is a wonderful time to be reminded of your loved ones and to be reminded of what truly matters. An opportunity to do more this coming year. This is the second to last big leap to the new year, because then you have New Year's Eve that's really going to help you focus in. Christmas is typically a reprieve. People, they have off, there's no school, there's typically no work, and people can spend time with their families, spend time with their loved ones, and to rejuvenate themselves and to go into the new year, of course, more hopeful and with a few more gadgets under your belt. And I remember just going into school January, whenever I went to school, January 4th or 5th, and showing everyone all my new things that I would get. I wouldn't get a new backpack because you get a new backpack at the beginning of the school year. Maybe you get some school supplies like pencils, things like that. So I would have all my pencils lined up and my pens ready to go. And these are great tools to have when you're in school and you're learning. But then I was just thinking about my video game systems, my Ninja Turtles, and all these aspects of, well, what is not school? I remember just the greed of me being a kid and just writing down all of these toys that I wanted. And it is funny because today I can buy anything that I want. I can do anything that I want. And yet I am more regulated today than I was before. And of course, we understand emotional stability. We understand mindset. We understand maturity. All of these things play a factor. But then again, you can have someone who is mature for their age. And when I say mature for their age, you can have someone who's not so much full on materialistic goods. So they might get a pair of Skechers rather than the Yeezys, or a pair of Nikes or something that costs quite a bit of money. And I understand that you might think that you have to fit in. But then again, maybe you're just a person that just wants a pair of shoes. Maybe a pair of shoes that don't have holes in them. A pair of shoes that can withstand the rain. So if you step in a puddle, you'll be okay. Some people, when it comes to just the basic necessities of life, they just want clean water. Things that we don't think about every single day. We get all of these fancy waters from Fiji and from Smart Waters and got to put some vitamin B6 in it because it's going to make us smarter. And yet we're dumb for buying water that is this expensive when we can just filter it ourselves at our house for a fraction of the cost. Why do we do the things that we do around this time of year that continues to perpetuate for the whole entire year? This is the idea that I'm presenting with you today. Because as I said in the beginning, right, this is the most wonderful time of the year. And as much as I would love to just be optimistic today, I want to be a Debbie Downer. I want to be that person who challenges what today is, because we have talked about it on the podcast before. You can go to any Christmas episode. It's talking about gratitude. It's talking about thanks. It's talking about stepping into the new year, getting ready, equipping yourself, taking these moments to propel yourself forward, building the momentum. All of these things are great. But sometimes you have to look at the negative. Sometimes you have to be the bad guy to understand what you have to do in order to beat the good guy. And so the good guy can say, hey, you know what? Let me put myself in someone else's shoes. Let me look at a different perspective, because we can have our perception of the world And we can say, well, this is nice. And Michael, you know that, and you don't know this. And of course, you don't know my life. And I'm not saying that I need to know your life. What I'm saying is the mindsets of individuals today, from just the day-to-day hustle of life, all the way down to the generations that are supposed to be equipping themselves to be the next leaders. And these are the teenagers. Teenagers should be equipping themselves to be leaders right now. And if they're not, we are in desperate times, because those people who are supposed to be leaders are not equipped to be leaders, or they're not, for lack of better words, adequate or essentially functional leaders. So it's like, as much as we will love for us to pass the baton, for parents to say, I'm passing the baton to you. I hope you're better than me. I want you to do more than me. But then the reality is they're doing less than anyone has done. Oh no, Michael, that's not true. They focus on AI now and they do so much AI work. And yeah, sure, I understand. AI is a thing. But think about it. Before AI, what needed to happen? You had to go out and you had to do work. You had to get your hands dirty. And now everything is computed for you. So your life is getting easier. We are spending more time on the computer in front of screens and not enough time in the real world. And so you have to ask yourself, what's happening with these people who are spending more times in a screen world rather than the real world? They begin to lose focus of what truly matters. They don't see family the same way anymore. They don't see opportunities the same way anymore. They don't see what they have to do to show up every single day anymore. It's just, okay, well, let's see what happens. All right, let's see what today brings. Because maybe one day you're going to have a good moment on the computer. Maybe you make a little bit of money with stocks if you're into stocks. Maybe you come up with this invention that no one has ever thought about before, and then it has made you millions, if not billions of dollars. All of these things are possible. But the level of inaction today is the most it has ever been. Kids today, they don't even want to go outside. And not saying that this is every child, of course. If you're putting your kid into proper schools and you're giving them adequate amount of time, I understand parents are busy, probably busier than ever, because again, we think we don't have time because there's things that we want to do that we don't have to do. So we will go to work because we need to go to work to make sure we pay the bills and make sure that there's food on the table for our kids. But then on the other side, when we get home, we don't have to go on the TV or go on our phones or to do things that are not going to bring any level of meaning in our life. I say, if you have this abundance of free time to do something that is not promoting you, then you're just using your time ineffectively. You have to figure out how you can get busy. Now, this aspect of busy, right? I don't want you just to think busy is me doing things that is not just standing still. Have you ever heard a kid saying, Mom, I'm bored. Dad, I'm bored. Where did this come from? Like, I can't remember the last time I was bored. Maybe when I was a kid, probably. Because I didn't know that my boredom was a factor of me. I was the determining factor if I was going to be bored or if I was going to be entertained. All right. And I had to get up and I had to go do something. I had to go ride my bike. I had to go out, fly a kite. I had to go do something, not just sit there. And then again, there's people who sit there on Netflix and I'm bored. I don't know what to do. And you spend hours on hours on hours looking for the right show to curve your boredom, to make you feel a little bit better. What if you use those hours instead to listen to some personal development material? It doesn't have to be coaching a session. It could be anything. It could be anything. You can read a book, possibly. You can dive into a better you. But then again, we learn to be consumers. So we're consuming what we're given. So they gave us a new show this week. We got to watch it. Oh, they're telling me I need to go buy this thing. So let me figure out how many hours I have to work so I can afford it. So we are literally living in this rat race, essentially, right? This rat race is keeping so many people stuck, and it's going to get worse in 2026. It's not just going to be the same rat race anymore. People are literally losing traction now because they have already been in the rat race. And guess what happens when you run on the treadmill for quite a long time? You start to slow down. You start to get tired. You start to get fatigued. And then before you know it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to stop. This year is going to be unprecedented. We can already see it in gym memberships, where gyms are offering gym memberships at the lowest rates possibly than have ever been before. Why do you think that this is happening? It's not some magical, it's the new year. Let's get as many people as possible and charge them whatever membership fees and startup fees. And then, of course, they can come to the gym whenever they want. Why is it cheaper this year? Because gyms bet on you not showing up. They say, I'm going to bet that you're not going to show up. And here's the aspect of skin in the game, people. I've talked to you about this several times throughout this year, and I'm going to solidify just as we are closing 2025. Skin in the game means that you're investing in yourself. We talked about it. We had a whole episode on investing in yourself. When you do not invest properly, and I'm talking about monetary investments, okay, you will not make a big change. So if you're paying no initiation fees and just $10 a month or something, that is insignificant for change for you. You would spend $30 on a couple of hamburgers and french fries before you even care about your gym membership or calling to cancel your gym membership. So guess what's going to happen with that gym membership? It's going to recur, and then you're going to get to the end of the year. You're going to say, oh man, I paid for this gym membership all year and I didn't even go. They have studied you and they know that you're not going to do it. Now, this is, again, me being the bad guy today, me being the Debbie Downer, me being that optimistic Mike, because I understand something about the mindset. They're extremely fragile, and everything that these people are doing, the marketers and the consumers and whatever, they know how to target you and they're going to win. But how can you win? How can you turn it around, right? Like, we need to get to that conversation too, because to win is to take action. To win is to go against the odds. When someone says that I can't, you should, and you should accomplish it. And that means you will. You will do what needs to be done. If they are betting against you, everyone's like, oh no, you're last in line. I'm not betting on you. Like, if you do it, pigs are going to fly or something like that, right? So all of these people are already doubting you. And when you have people doubting you, do you know how challenging it is to get up? How many times you get knocked down and no one is there to pick you up and it's only you? Guess what? Eventually you're going to stay down. You're going to say, well, you know what? It's not so bad down here. I understand that sentiment, but then where do you truly want to be in 2026, or not even in a year? Where do you want to be in life? All of these aspects are congruent to, if you understand where you are today, what is happening to your mind, and are you allowing it to continue, not just today or tomorrow, next week, but for throughout the year and then throughout your life? Because if you are just going to always be happy on these holidays where you get a present, where people care a little bit more about you, where you can post things on social media to try to get other people jealous or something along those lines, or you post things on social media to seek a little bit of validation because you get a couple more likes because, hey, look, my husband got me a new car, or my wife got me this new suit or something. So we can go down the list of all the things that we can possibly get somebody. And maybe in your eyes, it doesn't matter if someone got something more expensive than you. You're just looking at someone got something for me. Because if you can be appreciated, then it doesn't matter if someone else doesn't appreciate you. Because maybe you get a couple of likes from Facebook or Instagram, and typically you get like 2 likes, right? But then all of a sudden you post this and you get like 119 likes. You're like, oh, Jesus, like this is going to be my year. And the reality is, it is not going to be your year. You have already given yourself the foundation of looking and seeking for validation. And guess what? The moment you stop getting it is the moment you stop requesting it. And when you stop requesting it, you're going to say, well, I'm just going to just be this shadow. I'm just going to be this comfort zone. I'm just going to B-list character or something along those lines, right? B-list celebrity. You're just not going to be someone who's going to be pronouncing their days. All of this is fancy talk for, we're in trouble because people are not going to be showing up. Well, all of this can be reversed, as I said. We can start to give ourselves a different type of mindset. We can start investing in ourselves a little bit better. We have to understand that sometimes things that you invest in can take some time for things to go right. Just recently, it was a couple months ago now, where I had tweaked my neck, and I've talked about this. I tweaked my neck, and this is like one thing after another, and it's like, what is happening to me? So I was like, I know what to do. I could go to the doctor, and the doctor's going to say, well, here's some muscle relaxers. Here's a Band-Aid. This is going to make you feel a little bit better. No. I don't want to feel better. I want to be better. What do I have to do to be better? So I already know how to be better because I have been hurt before, right? I have been in car accidents. I know what happens to the body, to the spine, to the neck, to the mind when you are not taking care of yourself 100%. So then I said, you know what do I need in order to recover, to be at 100%? I said, I need to go to the chiropractor. Doesn't matter the cost. I'm investing in myself. So it could be hundreds. It could be thousands of dollars. It does not matter. That is my investment to me because I know that when I'm in prime and in peak condition, I can do things to help me reach the peak, to help me not only be my prime, but to elevate my prime that is right now. I know everyone is looking at Amazon Prime. They're like, oh, let me get my stuff right now. Let me see if I can get some free shipping. It's like the holiday time still. So I'm trying to get my gifts that I didn't get because sometimes I don't know how to communicate. I don't know how to tell people what I want. People don't know how to communicate today. People don't know how to say what they want in their life. And I tell people, I was like, listen, send me email of all your resolutions. Feel free to. coachinginsession@gmail.com. Send me an email of all the things that you want to do in your life, all the things you want to accomplish this year. Of course, I'm not going to be your accountability partner because it doesn't work that way. Just because you send me an email, it doesn't make yourself accountable to me. You need to have that investment aspect, the skin in the game. And I know better than anyone else that if I invest heavily into something that I want to accomplish, a gym, a trainer, a coach, whatever it be, or a doctor, right? Whatever it be, I know that I'm going to see the results because I'm not just doing things for the sake of doing things. I'm doing things for the sake of the results that I'm looking for. What results do you want this year? What results are you going to bypass in the sense of comfort, where you choose not to be comfortable anymore, where you choose to challenge yourself, where you choose to not let materialistic goods distract you from your true self or what you're capable of every single day? All of these things are an aspect of your life today. Well, they say it's the most wonderful time of the year. What would your year be this year? Next year for you? Will it be something that's good? Will it be something that you could be proud of? Or will it be that in 2026 you're going to say it's the most wonderful time of the year? And you're just going to keep on with the statistics and the circumstances that you are currently living. It's time to change your mindset. It's time for you to make some changes. And of course, if you need some help, head over to revenconcepts.com. Look at how you can adjust your mind, not only for the new year, but for every single year that follows.